You ever look at your bank account after a completely normal month, nothing unusual, no big emergencies, no crazy splurges, and just think, where did it all go? You didn't do anything wild. Some groceries, a few meals out, maybe you upgraded your phone because the old one was starting to lag. Normal life. And yet somehow you've got way less money than you should. The frustrating part is that a lot of what we spend money on today just is not worth it anymore. Prices have gotten completely out of hand on things that used to be reasonable, and we're all just going along with it because that's what everybody does. But here's what's interesting. Wealthy people figured this out years ago. They quietly stopped buying 10 things that the rest of us are still wasting money on every single month. And what they buy instead is exactly why the gap keeps growing. My name is Evan, and I help people understand money and how to actually keep more of it. Let's get into it. And I want to start with one that I know is going to make some people uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. Number 10, brand new cars. Buying a brand new car off the dealer lot is one of the worst financial decisions the average person makes on a regular basis. And I'm not exaggerating even a little bit. The second you drive that car off the lot, it loses roughly 20% of its value. You haven't even made it home yet and you're already down thousands of dollars. Then it keeps dropping, losing more value every single year while you're still making monthly payments on it, usually with interest. So you're paying a premium for something that is actively becoming worth less every month. You own it. It's the exact opposite of how wealth works. And look, I get the appeal. That new car smell, the feeling of having the latest model, the look on your neighbor's face when you pull into the driveway. That stuff feels good in the moment. But if you're trying to build actual wealth, it's killing you. Poor Peter finances a brand new $50,000 SUV every 3 years because he wants people to see him driving something current. He's locked into a 6 or 7 year loan with interest running the whole time. And before that loan is even halfway done, he's already itching for the next model. After a decade, he spent over $150,000 on vehicles and has almost nothing to show for it. The cars he traded in were worth a fraction of what he paid. Rich Richard buys a certified pre-owned car that's 2 or 3 years old. The big depreciation hit has already happened. Someone else ate that cost. He gets basically the same car, same reliability, same features, for sometimes half the price. And he drives it for 6 or 7 years without thinking twice about it. The difference between what Peter spent and what Richard spent over 10 years is sitting in Richard's investment account growing quietly in the background. A 3 or 4 year old car gets you to the same places, it's just as reliable, and it costs dramatically less. The only thing you lose is the ability to tell people you bought it new. And if that's what's driving your purchase decisions, that's a problem worth thinking about. Number 9, fast food and constant restaurant spending. Remember when fast food was the budget option? When the whole point was that it was quick and cheap? Those days are completely gone. You're now looking at $12, $15, sometimes $20 for a single fast food meal. $20 at a drive-through window for food that comes in a paper bag. That's what a decent sit-down lunch used to cost just a few years ago. The value has completely disappeared. You're paying premium prices for food that hasn't gotten any better. It's the same quality it always was. The only thing that changed is the number on the receipt. And restaurants are even worse. You sit down at a regular place, nothing fancy, just a normal restaurant with normal food. You order a couple of entrees, maybe an appetizer, definitely drinks. And before you know it, the bill is $60, $70, $80 for 2 people. Add the tip and you're at $100 for one meal that's gone forever. You can't get it back. It didn't build anything. It's just over. You ate some food, had a nice time, and now $100 has vanished from your life permanently. Now don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a meal out. The issue is frequency. Poor Peter eats out 4 or 5 times a week because it's easy, and he tells himself he deserves it after a long day. He grabs fast food for lunch, orders delivery for dinner, maybe brunch on the weekend. He's spending $1,500 to $2,000 a month on food he could make at home for a fraction of the cost. And he doesn't even realize how much it adds up to because it's $20 here, $35 there. Each purchase feels harmless on its own. Rich Richard cooks at home most of the week. Simple stuff, nothing gourmet. He does meal prep on Sunday, brings lunch to work, and keeps his kitchen stocked so there's always something easy to make. And when he does go out, it's intentional. It's an experience he planned and budgeted for, not a daily default because he didn't feel like cooking. He enjoys those meals out more because they're special, not routine. The math on this one is brutal. If you're spending an extra $1,000 a month on restaurant food versus cooking at home, that's $12,000 a year. Over 10 years, invested in a basic index fund averaging around 8% annually, That's closer to $175,000. You could literally be sitting on $175,000 right now if you had just cooked dinner more often. Think about that for a second. Number 8, designer logo clothing. Let me be clear about something. Spending more on quality clothing can absolutely make sense. A well-made pair of boots that last 10 years is a better deal than cheap ones you replace every year. A coat that actually keeps you warm and holds up season after season is worth paying for. That part I have zero issue with, but that is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about paying $200 for a plain white t-shirt because it has a specific logo on it. Same cotton, probably the same factory. The only difference is a little embroidered symbol that tells other people you spent $200 on a t-shirt. And here's the thing that nobody wants to admit. Nobody actually cares. People might notice the logo for half a second, but it does not change what they think of you as a person. You're just out an extra $190 for basically nothing. Poor Peter has a closet full of designer labels, shirts, jeans, sneakers, all of it covered in logos. He put a lot of it on credit cards because he thought it was important to look a certain way. Rich Richard owns mostly plain, well-fitted basics. He might spend decent money on a quality jacket or a good pair of shoes, but he's paying for the fabric, the construction, the fit. Not the label. He's paying for things that actually make the clothing better, not things that just make it more expensive. The luxury fashion industry has done an incredible job convincing people that wearing their logo makes you more successful, more attractive, more worthy of respect. It doesn't. It makes you a walking billboard that paid for the privilege. Number 7, the latest phone every single year. A new phone costs around $1,000 now, sometimes more depending on the model, and people are buying them every year or every 2 years, even though the one they already have works perfectly fine. Yeah, the new one has a slightly better camera and a slightly faster processor, but does that actually change your daily experience in any meaningful way? You're still using it to scroll through social media, send messages, and take pictures of your food? Your current phone does all of that just fine. The tech industry has gotten incredibly good at creating a sense of urgency around these releases. Every September, there's a new model, and suddenly your phone that was working perfectly yesterday feels outdated. That's not an accident. That's billions of dollars in marketing designed to make you feel exactly that way. And it works on almost everyone. Rich Richard keeps his phone for 4 or 5 years. He replaces it when it actually stops working well, when the battery won't hold a charge or the software truly can't keep up anymore, not when a new model comes out. Poor Peter upgrades every time a new version drops because he wants to feel current. He wants to be the guy at the office with the latest model. Over 5 years, Peter has spent $4,000 to $5,000 on phones. Richard spent maybe $1,200. That difference invested in an index fund over 20 years turns into something significant. And this extends beyond just phones, laptops, tablets, gaming consoles, smartwatches. The tech industry releases a new version every year with minor improvements, and people fall for it every single time. They've perfected the art of making you feel like you need the newest model. You don't. The device you already own is probably doing its job perfectly well. The wealthy figured this out a long time ago. They use things until they're actually worn out, not until a newer version exists. They see through the marketing because they understand that every unnecessary upgrade is money pulled away from something that could actually grow. Number 6, stacked subscriptions nobody uses. Everybody has like 5 or 6 streaming services now. Each one is only $10 or $15 a month, which feels like nothing in isolation. But add them all up and you're paying $60, $70, $80 a month just for television. That's close to $1,000 a year for content you're barely watching. You're probably using 1 or 2 of those services regularly, and the rest just sit there, billing you quietly every month because you might want to watch something on them eventually. That eventually almost never comes, by the way. You just keep paying, and it goes beyond streaming. People are still paying for cable somehow, $150 a month for hundreds of channels they never flip to. It's completely unnecessary at this point, and yet canceling feels like a bigger deal than it should. So people just keep paying month after month out of pure inertia. Then throw in the gym membership you signed up for in January and stopped going to by February. That's another $50 or $60 a month, $600 to $700 a year for equipment you're not touching. But canceling feels like admitting defeat, so you just keep paying. You tell yourself you'll start going again next week. Next week never comes. Rich Richard treats subscriptions like a portfolio. He audits every recurring charge on a regular basis. One streaming service at a time, rotating based on what he actually wants to watch that month. If he finishes the show he signed up for, he cancels and switches to something else. Cancel the gym if you're not going and work out at home or outside instead. It sounds small, but cutting $150 a month in unused subscriptions and putting that into investments instead adds up to real money over a decade. Poor Peter doesn't even know exactly how many subscriptions he's paying for. He'd have to go through his credit card statement line by line to figure it out, and he's never bothered to do that. Number 5, credit card vacations. Travel is great. Seeing new places, experiencing different cultures, all of that has genuine value. But not when it's putting you into debt. Not when you're spending the next 12 months paying off a week-long trip with interest on top. Poor Peter books an international vacation every year because social media makes him feel like he's falling behind if he doesn't. He sees everyone else posting beach photos and city skylines and thinks he needs to do the same thing, so he puts flights, hotels, and dining on credit cards. And by the time he's done paying it off with interest, the trip costs 30 to 40% more than their original price. That 1 week vacation is still costing him money in March of the following year. Rich Richard travels too, sometimes even more than Peter, but he travels within his cash flow. He plans trips months in advance, looks for deals, saves up a specific travel fund, and never puts a vacation on a credit card. Sometimes that means a road trip instead of an international flight. Sometimes it means exploring somewhere close to home rather than flying across the world. And he's totally fine with that because he knows the vacation photos disappear from his feed in a week, but the credit card debt sticks around for a year. There's this attitude, especially among younger people, that you have to travel while you're young. You have to collect experiences. You have to see the world right now. And sure, experiences have value, but you know what else has value? Not being stressed about money, not lying awake at night doing mental math about your credit card balance, not having to work until you're 70 because you spent your 20s and 30s funding vacations you couldn't afford. Maybe the smarter approach is smaller, closer trips that you can pay for with cash and actually enjoy without the financial hangover that follows you home. If you're finding this helpful, consider subscribing. I break down money psychology and wealth building strategies every week, and it really does help the channel when you hit that button. Now, let's keep going, because the next few are where it really gets interesting. Number 4, premium household brands. This one flies under the radar because each individual purchase seems small, but the pattern adds up fast. Generic cleaning products work just as well as the name brand stuff, but they cost half as much. There are actual studies on this. The active ingredients are often identical. The difference is the label and the marketing budget behind it. That cheap spatula from the dollar store does the same job as the $40 one from the specialty kitchen shop. Nobody needs a $400 blender unless they're running a commercial operation, but people buy this stuff anyway because they've been convinced that expensive automatically means better quality. Sometimes there's a small difference, sure, but is the name brand dish soap twice as good as the store brand? Almost never. You're paying for a commercial you saw on television, not for a superior product. Then there's the kitchen gadget obsession. There's this whole culture now around having the perfect kitchen with all the right tools. People are buying specialized equipment for things they make once a year. Bread makers collecting dust in the pantry, pasta machines that came out once for a dinner party and never again. Expensive knife sets where you only ever use 2 of the knives. Stand mixers that cost $300, sitting on the counter, looking nice, but getting used maybe twice a year. It's all just stuff draining bank accounts and taking up counter space. Purchased because of some fantasy version of your life where you're a home chef making fresh pasta every Tuesday. And furniture. People are financing furniture now, financing it like they would a car. Going into debt to buy a couch that's going to be stained and worn in 5 years. Rich Richard bought a perfectly good couch from a clearance sale for a few $100s. He checked online marketplaces, waited for a deal, and got something that looks just fine and does exactly what a couch is supposed to do. Poor Peter financed a $2,000 sectional from the fancy store because he wanted everything to look like a catalog photo. The couch does the same thing. You sit on both of them, but one of them came with a payment plan and interest charges, and the other one didn't. The wealthy understand that functional and affordable beats pretty and finance every single time when you're building towards something bigger. Actually, if you've been watching this and thinking about where your money is actually going, I built something that might help. There's a link in the description, the first one, that takes you to a quick quiz. It asks a few questions about your situation and then tailors a plan to your specific circumstances. Might be worth checking out if you want to actually map out where the leaks are in your spending. Number 3, status purchases. This is the big one, and it's probably the single biggest difference between people who look wealthy and people who actually are wealthy. Status purchases are things you buy, not because you need them or even really want them, but because you think they make you look successful to other people. Expensive watches, designer handbags, luxury cars you can barely afford. All of it is just projecting an image of something that isn't actually there behind the surface. And here's the backwards part. Actually, wealthy people are usually not the ones doing this. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. They've already won the game. They know where they stand and they don't need a watch or a car to confirm it for them. The people spending money on status items are overwhelmingly people who want to look wealthy but aren't actually building any real wealth underneath. They've got the nice watch and the designer purse and the leased car, but behind all of that, they have no savings, no investments, nothing compounding for their future. Everyone thinks they're doing great, but their net worth tells a completely different story. There was a study that looked at millionaires in the United States and found that the most common car brands they drove were Toyota and Honda, not Mercedes, not BMW, Toyota and Honda, because people who actually have money tend to care a lot more about keeping it and growing it than they do about showing it off. That's one of the biggest wealth psychology lessons you can learn, and it contradicts almost everything the culture tells you about what success is supposed to look like. Rich Richard drives a 10-year-old car, wears plain clothes, and lives in a house well below what he could afford. His neighbors probably think he's doing okay, nothing special. Meanwhile, his investment portfolio is quietly growing at 8 to 10% a year, and he's on track to be completely financially free within the next decade. Poor Peter has the flashy car, the luxury apartment, the designer wardrobe. Everyone thinks he's crushing it, but he's 2 missed paychecks away from real trouble because everything he earns goes to maintaining an image. The really sad part is that this kind of spending is almost always driven by insecurity. People think the right stuff will make them feel better about themselves or earn them more respect from the people around them. It never works that way. Respect comes from character and what you actually do, not from the brand on your wrist. And feeling better about yourself definitely does not come from going into debt to buy things you can't really afford. Number 2, impulse convenience spending. This is the sneaky one. The one that doesn't feel like spending because each individual purchase is so small. $5 for a coffee every morning. $3 delivery fee plus tip on a food order you could have picked up yourself. $2 markup on a bottle of water from a convenience store instead of filling one from home. $4 here, $7 there. None of it feels like real money in the moment. But add it all up. A $5 daily coffee habit alone is over $1,800 a year. Throw in a few delivery app orders a week, those convenience store runs, the vending machine at work, the impulse buy at checkout, and you're easily looking at $3,000 to $4,000 a year on pure convenience. Money spent just to avoid minor inconveniences that take maybe 5 extra minutes of your time. 5 minutes of effort traded for thousands of dollars. When you frame it that way, it sounds absurd. Because it is. The delivery app thing especially drives me crazy because people don't realize how much extra they're paying. The menu prices are marked up on the app compared to ordering in person. Then there's the delivery fee, then there's the service fee, then there's the tip. A $15 meal turns into a $25 meal by the time it reaches your door. You just paid $10 extra so you didn't have to drive 10 minutes. Rich Richard makes coffee at home. It takes 3 minutes and costs about 30 cents. He brings a water bottle. He picks up his own food when he orders out. He keeps snacks in his desk drawer instead of hitting the vending machine. These aren't sacrifices. They're just habits. Small ones that happen to free up thousands of dollars a year that go directly into his investment accounts. Poor Peter doesn't think about any of this because each individual purchase feels meaningless. $5? Who cares? But $5 365 times is over $1,800. And that $1,800 invested every year for 20 years at 8% growth turns into roughly $89,000 from coffee, just coffee. The wealthy don't think about each individual purchase in isolation. They think about the system, they look at their money as a flow, and they plug the small leaks, because small leaks are what actually sink most people's financial ships over time. It's not the big expenses that keep people broke. Those are obvious and people pay attention to them. It's the constant trickle of $5 and $10 charges that nobody tracks. Number 1, the appearance of wealth itself. This is really what all of the other 9 items come back to. The fundamental difference between people who build real wealth and people who stay stuck is this. You can either look wealthy or be wealthy. For the average person, you cannot do both. Every dollar you spend on impressing other people, on maintaining an image, on buying stuff you don't need to signal a status you haven't actually achieved, that's a dollar that is not working for your future. It's not compounding, it's not growing, it's gone forever. And the cruel math of compounding means that every wasted dollar today isn't just a dollar lost. It's $5 or $10 you won't have 20 years from now. And yeah, maybe that means your life looks a little less impressive on social media. Maybe you don't have the newest phone or the fanciest car or the most exotic vacation photos. But what you will have is savings, investments, actual financial security, the real thing instead of just the appearance of it. Poor Peter's social media looks incredible. Vacations, restaurants, new clothes, new car. Everyone comments about how well he's doing. Meanwhile, he's stressed about money constantly and has no idea how he's going to retire. Rich Richard's social media is boring. A few family photos, maybe a picture of a sunset from a road trip. Nobody's impressed. But Richard sleeps well at night because he knows exactly where he stands financially and he's building something real. The reality is that prices have gone up on everything and they're probably not coming back down. Companies figured out they can charge more and people will keep paying, so they keep raising prices and we keep buying because we think we don't have a choice. But we do. We can stop buying overpriced stuff. We can keep our phone another year. We can cook dinner instead of ordering out. We can skip the designer label and buy the version that works just as well. None of this requires earning more money. It just requires spending the money you already have with more intention. The people who figure this out early are the ones who end up comfortable. They're the ones who hit 45 or 50 and realize they have options. They can take a year off. They can start a business. They can retire early if they want. They have freedom, and freedom came from 1,000 small decisions to keep their money instead of trading it for things that didn't matter. The ones who keep spending money they don't have on things they don't need are the ones who spend their entire lives wondering why they can't get ahead even though they make decent money. This is why all these little expenses that seem reasonable in the moment, but add up to thousands and thousands of dollars every year that just vanish. So maybe look at where your money is actually going. Track it for a month. You'll probably be surprised, then start cutting the stuff that doesn't actually make your life better, because I guarantee there's more of it than you think.